Let me know when anybody gets in here so we can start. Get y'all on the tripod. We're probably going to be on for a little while. Here we go. Hey, what's up, brother? How's it going, my man? Hell yeah, I'm glad to hear that. So you back at work, huh? And get y'all on the other phone so I can, or where I can see my other phone so I can see y'all's chat so we can talk. Can you hear me? Aaron, can you hear me, buddy? Let me know if you can hear me, Aaron. Sweet, that's what I needed. Okay, give me 1 sec so I can get y'all on this where I can see your chat. There we go. Alrighty. Loud and clear, that's what I wanted to hear. We're gonna mess around with these stones that I was telling y'all about. They're those Nanawa made stones. You get the pair for $35. Excuse me, for a 1,000 and a 3,000. Excuse me. And they're damn good. Like I'm quite surprised at just how good they are for, 35 bucks. You cannot beat it. You cannot beat it. And believe it or not, these stones right here, those I don't know how to say that, PHLEITE, that brand. I can't wait till they send me the new set that don't have the issue of the warping. These are really, 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 really good stones. And the owner is very, the owner is very, he wants to, basically, how do I put this? He wants to do better. He's not, he's not no big sharpener or anything, but he's into the hobby, and he wants to put out a good stone and a good value. So I really appreciate them trying, and now that he's got somebody who knows sharpening well, he's very, very open to listen. And I'm not going to charge him anything, of course. I just want him to put out a good stone and a good value for you guys, and that's where we're headed. I'm actually trying to get him to have a few more grits prepped to these stones, possibly a 120 and something around 260, 280. As the 400 is not quite coarse enough. I mean, it cuts, but it's not. You need a lower stone. What I want is I want him to do a coarse grit and like a 120, and then a more intermediate grit, maybe like I said, something between 240 and 280. And believe it or not, get rid of this 400. it would be beneficial to get, for him to do a reprofile stone, a more intermediate grit to clean up, any edge damage, light edge damage, and then straight to the 1000, because this 1000 cuts super quick, and it'll clear up, like it'll clear up like a 260, 280 grit scratch pattern, no problem, and very quickly. So what we're going to do, how much was it? $59 and 10% off. So it was like $56, $57 to ship. It comes with a really nice stone holder. This is a good quality stone holder, not one of them little, cheap, crappy, thin ones. This is a good one, and comes with a nice silicone carbide flattening block. And if you care about it, it comes with one of those angle guides that clip over the back of the knife, and it's got the ceramic bar on it. I don't know if that means anything to you. But yeah, for under $60 shipped, like that's a crazy good deal. If he'll do like sell the 120 alone for like $15, and then do a set of like I said, like 240, 260, 280, something in that 220 to 280. Do it. Just say a 220 straight to the 1000, 3000, 8000. That's how I would like to see him set the setup, and I believe that's what he's going to do. And he can keep that at $60. That is a hell of a set of stones. Yeah, exactly. This stone holder is $20 all day long. And this is a good quality silicone carbide flattening block. These ain't, this $18, $20 by itself right here. I'm glad you got the job back and everything's working for you, brother. That makes me happy to hear. So what we're gonna do, I know I ain't been. I'm glad you're here, Aaron. It's the first time I've really caught you in a live. I'm happy you're here with me, buddy. But YouTube ain't gonna share my stuff. I know that. So we're gonna go ahead and start, even though there's only one person in here. And of course, right when I go to start a live video, neighbors decide to mow lawn. I hope that ain't bothering y'all. So we are going to do quick sharpening on this D2 Ganzo on these, however you pronounce that. What is that? Theolite? Something like that. Theolite, something like that. Theolite. I'm just going to say that. You'll know what I mean. And then we're going to do 20 CV on the nanowire stones. And I'm telling you, man, those nanowire stones, that 1000, 3000 combo for $35, I don't think there's a better deal in sharpening on the market. Tell me about it, brother. I've been there, man. I've been there when mine's typically health related, when the health is not the greatest because of shitty genetics. It seems every time stuff's going good, it just seems like the health will strike you down. Like past couple days, I've been having a little bit of pain in the left wrist and in the right here, and Yeah, that's real scary stuff for me. That is real scary stuff for me with heart problems. And if it keeps it up, I'll go to, it's probably about time for them to go up in there, cut me open and go up in there and take a look. Make sure there ain't no blockages or anything. It happens occasionally, that's why I don't, as soon as it happens, I don't immediately, oh my God, heart issue, heart attack, run to the hospital. I give it a few days, and if it backs off, then I know it's just, it's not related to that. Thankfully, I'm not having any heart pain. If I had heart pain, of course I'm straight to the ER, but still, it's scary stuff when that heart, when you have pain that you have had before, a similar type of pain, and that is, tied to a heart attack. Like when I have heart attacks, I get pain here and here, and also burning in the shoulder, and that's just, it's scary. But I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back to work and everything's going good, and I hope everything's good with with your child. I've been praying for you, brother. So enough of the sad stuff. So let's get to sharpening this D2. If anybody's in here, I don't know how many people are in here, but hey Martins, how's it going, buddy? I hope you're still here. Scaring me, hospital dude. Oh man, I'm super sad to hear that, bro. I'm super sad to hear that, buddy. I've been praying for you every day. Hey, what's up, Aiden? How's it going, brother? Yeah, it's scary stuff, man, and I can't even imagine it with your child. That I'm glad it's me and not my child. I'll put it that way. I can deal with it. I've lived. If it decides to take my ass out, then so be it. But yeah, I don't want nothing to happen to my babies. So this D2, this is actually pretty good stuff. Gonzo does a pretty good job on it, and so we're gonna do a quick 400. I might take it to 1,000. I don't know. I normally wouldn't take D2 that high, but we're just gonna probably do 400. See how it comes up, and then we'll go from there. Oh hell yeah, man! Like, without lack of health insurance, it's brutal. It is brutal, and if you don't got health insurance, like in my case, prescription costs. Holy shit! Holy shit! One medicine I take is called Brilinta, and there's no generic for it, of course. And it's by itself at my dosing is like $1,000 a month after like coupons and stuff. D2, one of those deals when done right becomes a long time. Oh, absolutely. People hate on D2 and they shouldn't. This is good stuff. I mean, yeah, there's shitty D2 out there. That's anybody that's in the knives has had it. But this D2 from Ganzo has consistently, I've never had a bad piece ever. It's always been really good. Are those studs gonna hit? So this knife is probably at about 17. Yeah, probably right at 17 aside. But I'm really happy about the guy, wanting to actually put out a good quality stone at a reasonable price, and you know, not hard headed. The you know, most people get pissed off when you tell them, hey man, there's a problem with your stuff, and basically he fully took it, and all he was worried about was correcting it. As you can see, this D2 is quite hard, man. Like Genzo, they run their stuff pretty hard. Like, it is giving this stone, like the stone's cut, but it is definitely working this stone. Like, it is most definitely working this stone. We have a burr, full length. Yeah, yeah, exactly. D2 400 to 600. That's typically where I run it. Actually, more like 320 to 600, somewhere in that range. We have a full length burr. One thing I gotta say about these stones, the feedback is insane. Like, I have never felt stones with this much feedback. If you're off angle at all, you instantaneously know it. You can hear it, you can feel it. It is absolutely blatant. That's really annoying with it mowing the lawn right now. That's getting on the nerves, and of course they got to be right up against the fence. Can y'all see that? Here's where we're at on the 400. Yeah, these are splashing down. Now I will say, like the 400 and 1000 don't really absorb any water. The 3000 will absorb a teeny bit, and the 8000 it will absorb some water, and that's exactly what caused the splitting or the warping. Um, there was something in that matrix that just allowed it to suck a little bit of water in it, and I guess from the manufacturing process it kind of held on to a little bit of that water, and bingo, you got problems. What's up, Ray? How's it going, brother? So yeah, we're just gonna finish this on 400. Refine that burr down a little bit. Those damn thumb studs are getting in my way. That burner off. Still, I can't stress it enough. The feedback of these things are crazy. You know, I have a lot of stones that have really good feedback, but these things, like, make other stones feel like they have no feedback. It's kind of weird. Feel that burr starting to break away. So, how's everybody been doing? Like, everybody doing well? Life treating you good? Anybody go to Blade Show? Just knock that burr off. Now it's nice and fatigued. I was happy to get my 10B shaman. Like that, it's the only thing that really excited me, to be honest. Yeah, and everything's good except for the little pain in the arm bothering me. But other than that, yeah, everything's pretty good. Yeah, man. Blade Show. Just nothing's exciting. I don't know. That 10B shaman, like, yeah, that was awesome, and I really wanted it. Even though surprisingly, I don't care that much for the shaman. I really wish they would have did that in like instead of doing a shaman. I wish they would have did like a Mannix or a native. That's not to say I don't like shaman, but it's just not my favorite knife. It's like, once they're reground, then they're fantastic. But minus a regrind, I just don't really care for them all that much. So we're gonna just no compound. We're just gonna make a couple slightly over sharpening angle passes to knock any burr off. We should have a nice aggressive edge. That should be good. Let's see where we're at. Oh yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Too aggressive to push cut. Yeah, it's not going to push cut at that grip. It almost will, but yeah, it almost will. But that bite is really nice. If I wanted to bring up, make it a little more, bring up the king. Oh yeah, that's a nice edge. Lots of bite, lots of bite. Oh yeah. That is how I like D2, right there. So these are the ones that I really wanted to show you guys. Uh, is those nanolame stones. That's the ones that incredible value. Like absolutely incredible value. So we're gonna some good old 20 CV. We're gonna do some 20 CV. We're gonna, and you know, for the people that don't believe that like you can sharpen super steels on alumina stones, you absolutely can. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't do it. I do not understand why they did not do a 10V Nanix for this drop. On a K2, on a Riot K2, or if not, I'm not familiar with that brand. Is that a custom maker? Yeah, I mean, if you like the Shaman, or I just shout out the middle complex Shaman. If you like the Shaman, yeah, I mean the 10V version is probably the Shaman. Yeah, that probably is the best rendition yet of the Shaman. 10V is just an all-around badass steel, and Golden did it right. Golden's K390, they skimped on it a little bit, and they left it. They just ran it too. They needed to run it harder, but they didn't do that with their 10V. The 10V is ran where it should be, and it performs really, really nicely. So, you know, it's getting a regrind, and yeah, just haven't got time to do it yet, but it's going to get a regrind, and then it will be, you know, it'll get there. I do wish it was the Manix. The Shaman is just, I don't know, it's just, once you regrind them and knock some weight off of them, it's not too bad, but as is, they're just, in my opinion, they're just too daggum heavy. Yeah, I mean, 15V is badass, but, and I have quite a bit of it. I haven't had no corrosion problems, but, you know, in my opinion, let's see, how can I say this? If you're not just looking for all out max edge retention, then the 10V model is going to be better than the 15V model. The 10V is going to have more edge stability. You're going to be able to run it at lower bevel angles without microchipping. And I'm not saying 15V's a chippy steel, by no, it's not. However, it doesn't like to be ran super low, and 10V is going to do a much better job at that. So if you're actually using the knife reasonably hard, you're going to be able to run that 10V quite a bit shallower than you will the 15V, and that's going to make up for the perceived edge retention difference in itself. And 10V, and another really nice thing about Golden 10V, it sharpens. Golden 15V sharpens really nicely too, but man, their 10V, it sharpens So good. It is really a sharpener's steel. Yeah, RWL 34 is good steel. I've got it on a couple Norseman's and a couple custom pieces too. I think it's a good steel. I mean, I have some CPM 154 from Kershaw and a couple. It's good. It's the same thing. It's good. It's a good blended steel. Like it's got some toughness. It's decent edge retention, good stainlessness, and it sharpens nicely. Personally, yeah, I think if they would, I mean, I'm glad they didn't do it in DLC. Otherwise, I wouldn't have bought it. But yeah, it would. That knife would have looked better in DLC, no doubt about it. Is if you just care about looks, yeah, absolutely. I heard issues with the 15 B pairs. I did not get a pair of 3. I have all the other 15D drops except for the pair of 3. I just don't. I don't like that knife. And so I can't speak on that, but my PM2 is fantastic. My Mannix, fantastic. Shaman's fantastic. Literally, yeah, all of them. Now, I will say, one of the mules I bought, one of the 15D mules I bought, there was a blatant difference between that one and any other piece of 15B I have from them. It's noticeably softer on the stones, and it has some stability issues. Even at 17 degrees per side, it microchips far easier than it should. I haven't had microchipping issues with any other piece of 15D except that one of those mules. There was something off in the heat treat with that one. Those showed. Yeah, me too, Aiden. That and the native, like, I want them bad. Like, I'm genuinely worried about missing those. No, I disagree. I disagree. My 15V Mannix, that thing holds bite from now on, even at a polish. The only thing I will say it doesn't like is being stropped on too fine of a compound. As long as you're, stropping at like 5, 6 micron or larger, it holds bite, it doesn't drop off bite very quickly. It'll strop back many times and maintain bite. If you start taking it below 5 micron, it will start to slick off. All right, so we got some 20 CV here. This edge has had quite a bit of use on it. It's been stropped back many times, and what's happening is it's starting to roll. From the steel's fatigue. So, now you strop it back, it comes right back, but, very little cutting and it's rolled over again. The steel just needs to go. But we're gonna see. Alumina will absolutely deal with 20 CV with no problem. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this edge off because it's worn out. And it is sharp right now. Like it'll still pop hair. Like it'll shave, no problem. But just don't take anything and the edge is dead. So we're gonna kill this edge. Goodbye edge. Also, I'm gonna tell you something. Anybody who cuts their edges off like this, when you do it, don't only make this motion here. Because what you're doing is you're just rolling that edge over. So how I knock my edge off, and you can check it under a microscope, you'll actually remove that apex if you do this. You knock the edge off, and then you make a couple passes like this. Even at very slight angles too. Then back to center. That way you're not only just pushing that edge over to one side, and then, if you don't remove very much steel, you can still have some of that fatigued apex. The steel that's right under that fatigued apex can still be there. So you do that, you'll actually knock the apex off. These here are $35.99 for a 1,000 and 3,000 set. These are Naniwa made stones. They're not, might be very interested in this too. I have noticed that too. I use Lacey's. Yeah, absolutely. I have Lacey's emulsion as well. I definitely be buying next to it. Go too expensive to replace it. Yeah, absolutely. I can tell you this. Out of the whole set, the G10 Mannix and the lightweight Mannix, when it comes out, those are going to be the most pricey two of the whole 15B set. They didn't make as many of they made a ton of the PM2s in 15B. They made a ton of the pair of 3s in 15B. They didn't make that many of the G10 Mannix, and I don't think they're going to make that many of the lightweight Mannix neither. So that's why when you try to pick up a new one on the second hand, you're going to be paying like $500, and everything else is quite a bit less than that. So I believe the native will be quite expensive too. Wish I had Shapton mini stones. I've never seen them. I love Shapton. I really love Shapton. I like the Koromaku stones and the glass stones. Absolutely love them. I've actually got some of the rock stars on the way as well. But yeah, I think Aiden, I think with the 15B just not holding bite, if you polish it, if you take it too low on a strop, I believe what the reason is, because I've looked at it carefully under high magnification, and I believe it's got to do with just the way that the micro serrations are set on the edge with all that carbide. If you take it down too low, the carbide, there's so much carbide in it that it's overtaking, if you will, the micro serrations that are in the apex, the steel matrix. That's what it looks like to me anyways. And there's so much carbide in there that if you polish it down below 5 microns, the micro serrations are kind of overtaken by the carbide, and then you just get you're just getting the as you strop that and you start to shape those carbides, you're just getting basically you're only filling that carbide at the edge, and I don't know, that's what it looks like to me. That's the only thing I could come up with, because a steel like that with that carbide volume and hard carbides like it has, you would figure even strop down fairly low, it would still maintain bite due to the carbide. But I think there's just so much carbide that that the scratch pattern of the steel matrix becomes important to bite. More so than, I don't know how, I'm trying to explain it. You know what I'll do? I'll do a video on that, and I'll show it under high magnification, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It'll make more sense that way. Trying to explain it, I can't put the words together. Anyways, I use the FSK 400 and remove the burr on the Spyderco, and then FSK 400 super vitrified. I think a badass. I think he's a badass. Okay, so this knife here is at about, there's a grind difference. This side right here is about, the primary grind is about 2 degrees different than this side. So I've got to take into account for that to get the bevels to match. Alright, so we've got a dull knife. Let's do it. This has been a really good knife right here. Everybody, hates on Kershaw's 20 CD, but this one here has been pretty daggum good. Now, of course, I can absolutely, tell that this stone is not super efficient at cutting this steel. This steel is definitely about all you wouldn't want to go up much more in wear resistance for stones like this. But this is cutting it no problem. You just wouldn't want to try to reprofile on this. Even like a 220 or something. But you'll see, you can, these stones right here are absolutely capable of dealing with, 20 CV from a factory heat treat. Custom heat treat 20 CV, just ran at like 64, probably not. But factory heat treat at, 61, 60, 61, it'll handle it no problemo. I gave one of those to my cousin. He enjoys it. He is really yeah. I'll tell you what, the finish on this one's done pretty good. I've got a couple nicks on it, but not too bad. That thing's actually been in my pocket a lot over the years. Deep are on the same stony finish and deep. In my opinion, it depends. Very rarely will if say I'm going to finish on 1000, I'm going to deburr on the 1000. Say just like that D2. I finished on a 400, I deburred on a 400. Now there are certain scenarios where I will go over to say like a fine or extra fine Spyderco ceramic plate to deburr, but that's only if I'm having a burr that does not want to come off. And what I'll do is I'll come over to an extra fine Spyderco, and I'll go up maybe a half degree over sharpening over bevel angle, and I'll make very, very, very light passes to just knock that burr off. That's the only case where I would do that, and it would have to be a piece of steel that's got a lot of retained austenite in order to get me to do that. I really, even doing extremely light deburring passes on a higher grit stone, no matter how careful you are, you're still knocking the bite of that edge down some. And I really don't like to do that. Oh yeah, the silica will absolutely eat an edge up. It'll eat finishes up. Still, it's so abrasive. People don't realize you can set and cut rope all day long, and that knife will hold its edge great. Get a piece of dirty. Some dirty cordage, and make just a couple cuts and watch what it does to that edge. Silica is brutal on, I don't care what knife steel it is. Pretty much turned to 285 CBN, 650, 6 micron. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's realistically, that's a perfect finish for 99% of steels out there, and for 99% of use cases. All the, one thing that I've learned over many years of sharpening, and I don't want this to come off wrong. One thing I've learned over many, many years of sharpening is when you see people that every edge they do, I don't care if it's a piece of 3CR, a $10 Kershaw from Walmart in 3CR. They get it, first thing they're doing is going home, and they're putting it on their KME or whatever, or they're going to sit there with strops in their hand and strop it until it's a mirror finish. That right there is, people that do that are typically in the beginning of their, again, I don't want this to come off wrong. They're in the big, they're a rookie. There we go. They're a sharpening rookie. There's stages you'll go through. The first thing, you'll crave that mirror. You'll want a mirror on everything. Like, it's all about that high polish. It's all about that high polish. But once you get experienced and you start spending time with the knives you sharpen and actually using them, it won't take you long to realize that for most tasks, most things you use your knives for, a mirror is not a very efficient edge, and it just doesn't perform that good. And in a lot of steels, it really hampers the performance of that steel. Like, I was on Reddit probably a week ago or so. Okay, this side is the lower side. I mean, the bevel's different, so I need to be about 2 degrees higher. Let's see, out of the, okay. Just making sure I've got the adjusting for that grind difference. Anyways, I was on Reddit, and this dude was, showing off his I believe it was a PM2 in S9DV, and it was S9DV for sure. It might have been a Parathread, I don't remember. I think it was a PM2, but of course, it's a brand new knife. First thing he does, gets it home, throws it on the fixed angle, and slaps him a mirror on it and finishes it on the highest grit stone he has. And my comment to it was, hey man, I'm not not hating or anything, but if you're actually using that, going to really use that knife, and you're not just doing it for cosmetic reasons, S9DV really does not like to be polished. In fact, it hates it. And we got to talking, and he sent me some pictures, and basically every knife he's got is a mirror. Doesn't matter, he had mirrored Maximet, mirrored S110V, mirrored D2, every look. I mean, he had quite a collection, but quite a few different steels. But every piece he had is a mirror. And I'm like, man, if you're not doing it for cosmetic reasons, you'll get more out of those edges if you don't finish them that way. He was cool about it, but I knew right away, this guy hasn't been doing it that long. He said he's been doing it for like 2 years, but he's still in that he's still in that stage of mirror everything. And you know, you grow out of that. It's just part of, I did it. We all do it. One thing, being I'm somebody who really does use my stuff, it didn't take me very long to learn. Hey, I don't really like the way these mirrors cut. Um, I don't like it. So I fell out of that habit pretty quickly. But most people don't. They stay in it for a couple years. They mirror everything, and it just it's a stage. Exactly. I wanted to find it. I have sharpening glass 30K. That's a totally worthless stone, and I paid big bucks for that. But yeah, 140 on Maximet, and it's a track star. That's a fact, um, absolute fact. But yeah, I mean, I bought a Shapton 30K because I wanted that. It was years and years ago. Those stones, I think I paid like $400 for that thing. Um, and it's useless. I mean, for straight razors, it's good, but past that, it's literally useless. So is the 16K. So is the 8K. I mean, I'm not saying 8K is useless. I do use the 8K occasionally, but for the most part, yeah, it's useless too. Um, Hell, I hate to say it, but in most cases, a 3K's especially for pocket knives, a 3K is useless. It's not. I mean, but it kind of is. Exactly. And toothy, bitey, coarse, aggressive edges. They just perform better, and in every way, they last longer. They strop back better. They touch up better. It, they're just better. They cut better. They cut way better actually. And they're more safe. A high mirror polished edge, you get it slips and cuts. Is where that really aggressive edge is going to dig in and cut. I've been cut bad by mirror edges because of them slipping. Like, I've got a few really nasty cuts from mirrors that was specifically because of that edge. Let's knock that bird back over. I didn't even check actually. Running my mouth and not watching what I'm doing here. But yeah, this stone is absolutely cutting the steel, but it still is. It's holding its own. I'll tell you that. But yeah, 20. A lot of people don't think you can sharpen 20 CV on an M390, 204P, whatever, on aluminum. You can. Are you asking for tear out? Nah. Not in my opinion. I mean, it can happen, but some. I typically 20 CV. I really like on silicone carbide. I really, really like the finish. I like the way the edge comes out off the silicone carbide. Like if you've got 20 CV and you want a really nice edge, that there's just something about the way. There we go. Now we got a burn. Silicone carbide, the way it cuts, exactly, super crispy on the stick, no doubt about it. Much more so than diamond actually. Um, 20 CV and M390 on silicone carbide, even if it's ran hard, custom at 63, 64 Rockwell. Um, silicone carbide at like around 600 grit on 20 CV, even up to 1,000 grit, and that is it. Just such a good quality edge. The best diamond stones on the market can't touch SICK 20 CV. There's just something about the way it cuts that steel. They come out so good. Yeah, all right, we got a do we want to take this to 3? Yeah, well, I'm doing it to show y'all, so I wouldn't do this. I'm not gonna. I'll use the edge at 1K, but I mean at 3K, but I'm just doing it just to show y'all these stones. Really, I would never finish 20 CV this high. Not for me. 1K, yeah, that's about it. Personally, I like 20 CV at 600. Only time I use anything over 1K is on greater 3K pasture stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you've got a piece of steel that's got a bunch of retained austenite and that burr don't want to let go, sometimes that's really the only efficient option you have. Unless you have like some 25 micron diamond on a hard piece of leather, then yeah. Only thing that I'm is cardboard. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, cardboard. I mean, if you're push cutting cardboard, if you're sitting there having fun doing that, by all means, slap a mirror on that bad boy. This is a 3K. I'm so impressed with these stones for this set for $35. And I emailed the company because I was like, you know what? These stones feel like Naniwa stones that I've had before. The way they cut, the way they feel, the feedback. And I emailed them. I'm like, hey guys, are these stones made by Naniwa? And they're like, yes sir, they are. I thought so. They are a hell of a deal for $35. Like, in my opinion, you're going to have a really difficult time finding a better set of stones than this for 35 bucks. They're good. Trying to fill that bevel. This 3K polish is quite a bit. That damn mist grind's tearing me up. As long as they don't. Yeah, I mean, the Naniwa lobster I've had, which is similar to these stones. I've had that stone for hell, I don't even know, 15 years maybe, and it's been, hasn't cracked yet. I mean, that thing's been used a lot. It's good stones, man. They're good stones. They don't load up, because you can see that steel comes right up. And maybe a teeny bit of load up right there, but not much. Yeah, a little bit. But for kitchen knives and stuff, it's a hell of a good set. Hell of a good set. Uh, got a little bit of work at the tip. Okay. But yeah, this really is about, as far as wear resistance in the steel. This is about as far as you would want to go with, this type of stone. It's handling it, but this is really is about the limit. But a lot of people believe you can't do it. There we go. And nope, still a little bit more. Start refining that burr. What made me do this video is on Reddit. I had this guy sitting there and saying, like, you can't sharpen hard steels. It's so annoying when I hear people say that. A hard steel like M390 or 20 CV on water stones. And I'm like, dude, number one, your average factory heat treat M390 or 20 CV is not a hard steel. In fact, it's no harder than, your average D2 or even most 8CRs 58, 59, 60, just like most production M3 20 CV is. So yeah, it's not it's no harder. It's a much more wear resistant steel, but it's not harder. Absolutely. It definitely is going to take a little longer. If this was like 14C, I would have been, done in a quarter of the time. And yeah, I mean, there is some vanadium carbide in here that this stone can't cut. That is facts. But there's not a lot of it, and you can get perfectly good edges off of aluminum stones with 20 CV. But yeah, like, so he's sitting there arguing. I'm like, no, dude, you're wrong. You can absolutely sharpen 20 your average production 20 CV on an aluminum water stone. Whether you like it or not, you can. You might not believe it, but you're wrong. And he sat there and argued with me until I was like, he's a dumbass. I'm not going to keep wasting my time. And believe it or not, you'll get a very, very, if you do your job, you'll get a very, very good job, or very good edge quality off of this stone on this steel. Better off of silicon carbide, but very good off of this. Just felt some of that burr break loose. We're going to refine that burr down now. Then we will fatigue it, and then make some deburring passes to break it loose. And You hear a lot of people talk smack about this 20 CV on the from Kershaw, but man, I'm telling you, this 20 CV right here is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I love it when you can feel that burr start to get crunchy. One of the most satisfying parts of sharpening to me. Okay, now we're going to fatigue that burr a little bit. You can already feel some of it breaking loose. Finish is looking good. Looking very good, actually. Okay. Now we're going to make a couple fatiguing passes. Exactly on angle. It's just something that a lot of people do not do right here. But it makes such a difference in your edge quality. To fatigue that burr and let that burr start to break away on its own, rather than shearing it off, makes your edge last longer and be sharper. Okay. So now we got that burr nice and fatigued. I still have yet to remove full blade side, but it's rare, man. It's rare. I've literally I've literally sat there and tried to do it. I've never been able to do it on a production knife. On custom heat treats, I've been able to get them occasionally. On like I had a 4V kitchen knife at 66 and a half. It was a 6-inch long, like a Santoku type knife. It's a little 6-inch blade. That one I got literally a full length burr on to pop loose, and a few other customs, but on production knives, never had it happen. And even on custom heat treats, it's rare. It's just seriously rare. Yeah, I agree, Aiden. Yeah, with at 3K you're pushing it a little bit with vanadium carbides. At 1K and you're not. It's no problem at all. All right, let's knock this burr off. We're gonna go exactly at angle and make very light passes. It's fixing a storm like hell. Y'all notice how it got dark? You notice the video darkening up? That storm's brewing up out there quick. Let me cut some lights on. That's wild. It went from, I don't know if you could see it through the camera, but it went from like bright and sunny to dreary real quick. Yesterday was a bad storm. Okay. Here's where we're at. A little more polished than I would. Yeah, I wouldn't. I'm just doing that to show y'all. I would never run 20 CV at that, that high of a polish. Not a chance. But, just showing y'all what, that's pretty impressive stones for 35 bucks for the pair. Let's get a strop real quick. Break loose any of that micro burr that's on there. Those little burr fragments. No compound. We're going to go slightly over angle. Slightly over sharpening angle. Make a few passes. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Absolute razor blade. But yeah, people will tell you can't sharpen 20 CV on. And as you can see, there's a misgrind back there. I can't catch it up on one sharpening. It's going to take a couple sharpenings to catch that up. Really, really nice edge quality. Again, not one that I would ever suggest putting on 20 CV. That's too fine. I would not go that low. I mean that high a grit. But it'll push cut nice. Super sticky. Oh yeah. Super, super sticky. believe it or not, this 400 would probably leave a very, very nice edge finish, or very nice edge profile on this 20 CD. Like I'll probably, again, I was just showing, I just did that sharpening there just to show, that 1,000, 3,000 combo. But I'll probably go back and actually take that edge and just finish it on that 400, see how it does. That would be a much more useful edge to me. If you guys want to hang out a little bit, actually, I'll knock it back down and finish it on that 400 real quick. Y'all want to watch? Y'all want to hang out a little bit longer, or y'all out of here? Hell, I don't even know if there's anybody in here anymore. Alright, yeah, I'll knock it back down to 400 because I know I'm not going to use that edge like that. It would not get used 100% before I used it. I'd knock it back down, so might as well do it now. I just don't do that much push cutting. I mean, it's like push cutting is not something that I do, and I mean occasionally you push cut, but not that much. Or at least me, and that's just too high of a grit. Sure does look pretty though. I'd say that 3K is closer to your average. I don't know. That's probably about the same finish that a Shapton 5K would leave. That's almost a mirror. Nothing worse than the edge. Yeah, exactly, man, exactly. Or tough, like real tough, like nylon filament rope, and you try to cut it, and that's something that I cut a lot of. And you try to cut it, and it just slips. Like, I despise it. Or plastic. You try to cut plastic, and it just slips. But where it's really dangerous is when when you have an edge that slips and you're cutting. Like I said, I cut a lot of that rope or heavy banding, plastic banding. That's where you can seriously hurt yourself with an edge that don't grab. So I'm just gonna, that right there drives me crazy. Like this side of the bevel is about 2 degrees steeper than this side on the primary, and it's only back here. And that to correct, I hate that. It looks bad and it annoys me. I mean, is it going to bother me in usage? No, but quite a few edges in, and it's just starting to get called up with. But it still looks funky. Coworker cut himself with the dull knife apparently. Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. Like, and ain't nothing a dull knife loves more than ripping your skin open. You notice I said ripping. See how this stone cuts this 20 CD. The feedback difference between those stones is insane. I know I've said it a lot, but the feedback of this stone is insane. Like, it's like night and day between these and those nanowatt stones. And those nanowatt stones have pretty decent feedback. polish off of there. There we go. That's looking more like. Still got a little bit of. It ain't completely took that polish off of there. Took most of it. Just a little bit. More passes to clean it up. Knock that burr back over. It's so damn aggravating when it, when the primary grind is, if it's a little off, it almost always is, but man, when it's a couple of degrees, that shit's annoying. Yeah, see, this stone right here has absolutely no problem efficiently cutting this 20 CV. Paper towel. Man, yes, and you know what, dude? That's a skill that I truly. You know what? That's not true. I dislike most S35 VM. Ow, cat! See the new shop cat? Just dug her nails in me. New shop cat. All right, you got to go now. Yeah, go meow somewhere else. I wish y'all could hear her meow. Kid's named her Raptor because she's, how like the Jurassic Park, how the raptors, that growl they make, that cat meows. It sounds exactly like a Jurassic Park raptor. It's funny as hell. Yeah, calico, super pretty. Kid seen her and that was it. Nope, can't. She's got to come in. She got a new shop cat. Got to have her. No, Dad, you're not giving her away. Yeah, there's tons of them around here, man. Seems like we got a new shop cat every other day almost. Making a few extra passes to make sure I've got all that polish off of there. Scoop burr. Start to refine that burr down. Yeah, I don't know, man. So many people complained about Kershaw 20 CV, but I've got a couple pieces of it, and it's all pretty damn good. I haven't ever had anything to complain about with it. It performs pretty daggone good. I'd say it performs better than my 20 CV bug out. And yeah, Aiden, you're 100% right, man. Like when you see people with polished S35VN, it really is a joke. And it's a steel that I don't really like. I don't mind it in kitchen, like custom kitchen knives, if it's ran harder. Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. She's not just shop cat kit. Like, she's done got run of the house. No, I didn't. Did he post up a new post on Instagram? I love Roman, man. That guy's a wizard, dude. Like, he is a literal wizard. Like, it's that, you know, I really love Sean Houston, and you know, they're both magicians at what they do, but man, Roman's next level. Seriously? So resin diamond that cuts faster than diamond plate. Wow, that's insane. Is it like a really fast wearing resin that releases diamond really quickly, or is it a slow wear stone? Oh, I gotta check that out. That's wild. To be honest, if somebody can make resin stones that cut as fast as plates and it's like legitimately do what they say, that is literally a game change. That's a game changer in sharpening. Like that's a must-have to any like hobbyist level sharpener. Could you imagine having resin stones that start out, or you know, your first 2 or 3 sharpenings on your new diamond plates, how aggressive and how quickly they cut? Could you imagine having a resin stone that would stay like that for the life of the stone? That would be incredible. Yeah, I don't feedback, you know, I don't really care all that much about feedback. I mean, it's nice to have it, but once you're proficient at holding and maintaining an angle, you don't really, the feedback don't matter no more. In fact, I probably excuse me, I'd say nowadays I actually prefer the skatey feeling of, you know, lower feedback stones. This stone right here is crazy feedback, and to me it's almost too much. I have to be careful because it's so much that it'll cause me to dip a little bit at the end of the reverse stroke. I have to be very, you know, cognizant of it to not allow it to do it just because the feedback is so high. Now, like a beginner or something, you know, somebody that's learning, that super high feedback would benefit them greatly. But, you know, people that are once you know what you're doing, feedback isn't all that important to me anymore. Like I really prefer the skatey feeling of, you know, like a hard steel against super vitrified diamond. That skatey feeling, I actually prefer that. In my opinion, you can maintain an angle better on that than you can a high feedback stone for the reason I just said. Unless you're somebody who makes edge leading only. Now, if you do that, it don't really matter. But if you're, somebody who sharpens in this method, when you get back, it's really easy at the end of your stroke to dip on high feedback stones, is where you do not have that on your, more skatey filling stones. Long strumpy. We're gonna knock off slightly higher than angle, knock any of that micro burr off of there. No compound, of course. And slightly above angle. Believe it or not, that 20 CV right there deburrs pretty damn nicely. Here's some 2 micron CBN. Just going to make 2 passes on it, just to bring that keenness up ever so slightly. And 1 alternating pass. Okay. Now we should have a nice aggressive edge. And where 20 CV really likes to do that. Oh, so much better. I can actually feel bite. Still keen enough to, yeah, that's a nice edge. Whoops, that's a nice edge right there. Come on. Well, that is how I like an edge to feel. Yeah, that is where this steel will perform so much nicer than at that 3K polish that I just had on it. What I really like about these stones here too is that 400 is pretty aggressive. And like, look at that, it's running water over it. Absolutely zero load up. Like, once they get that moisture problem figured out in the higher grit stones, that's going to make somebody a hell of a set of stones, that you can pick up for very, very cheap, that actually perform really nicely. All right, sweet. Yeah, I'll check the Instagram video. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing? The stones. Well, I was showing the $35. It's a set of one made by Naniwa. It's a 1K and 3K set. You can pick them up for $35.99. One and 3K set. That's a super good deal. And I just finished that 20 CV on. The brand. These are the ones I did the video on where I showed that they were the 3 and 8K had warping. They're fixing that and all that. The 400 and 1000 is fantastic. That's the brand, THLEITE. You won't be able to find them because I had the problem of the guy sent me 3 sets. Well, I bought the first set, and he sent me, it had problems, so he sent me two more sets, and was like, let me know if those, you get one that's got good stones, or if they're both bad. And of course, they were both bad. The 3,000 and 8,000 were bad in all three sets. So he went ahead and took the listing down and destroyed all the stones. Um, so you won't be able to find these, but he will have the listing. He's got more on order. They're going to make an adjustment to the moisture content in the pour of the 3 and 8K to fix the issue that the stone warping and splitting issue. So he, yeah, you know what? That's it, man. It's like fixed angle is fun to start, and it's always a fail safe. Where it's like, if you got something that's kicking your ass, you can always, on the bench stones, you can always hop over to the fixed angle and fix it. So it gives you a little more confidence. But anyhow, the company, they did really good as far as, taking criticism and understanding, hey, there's a problem. And that was cool of him to pull the listing down and destroy all the stock that he has. That way, nobody else is going to get bad stones. To say that 400 and 1,000 is a damn impressive stone. Those are damn impressive stones. When they come back up, the kit will be 400, 1,000, 3,000, 8,000. Comes with a nice stone holder and a silicone carbide flattening block, and it's going to be $60. It's a really, really, really nice set of stones for $60. As soon as they get the, moisture problem fixed and you get flat stones. Yeah, man, yeah, I agree. You have that, go out, you're out camping and you find a flat river rock, for example, and you sit down with your, carbon steel case, and you get a hair whittling edge off of a flat river rock, and it feels good. Once you develop that skill freehand, like, it's very rewarding, because you literally can sharpen on anything. Like, if the material, hell, man, just the other day, I don't know if y'all seen the video, I took my lapping plate, or my, float glass that I use for lapping stones, and where the texture that the silicone carbide cut into the glass, I literally sharpened D2 on that. That was cool, man. Like, it's just, fixed angle sharpening is fun and it has a purpose, but it'll never be as rewarding as free. Like, there's something special about freehand sharpening. And you can also say this, goes back to the river rock thing. If you're proficient at freehand sharpening, you can sharpen on anything that can cut said steel. Like, I literally can go outside, pick up a red brick, put some water on it, and sharpen a knife on it and get a usable edge. Exactly. No one can take that skill away from you. Like, once you learn it, even if you take once you've learned it well, and you take a couple year break, Yeah, you're not. You may not get professional quality edges right when you first come back, but it won't take you long, and you'll be right back where you was. Once you understand the motion, once you understand, you know, that muscle memory, it's locked. Once you have it, you have it. And you know, there's something else that's with fixed angles. You're paying a premium for 1x6 stones. As where with freehand, yeah, the stone may cost more, but look how much more surface area you're buying. You're not like per square inch, fixed angle stones are vastly more expensive than bench stones. Plus you have, you know, you have bench stones that you can't get in fixed angle. And part of the fun of sharpening to me is the stones themselves. You know, I don't, if I want to try this stone and they don't make it in fixed angle, you know, then you're kind of SOL unless you can freehand. And that's a big part of it. And the versatility of fixed angle. I mean of freehand. Like with this knife right here. There's like a 2 to 2.5 degree difference between this primary grind and this side. So on a fixed angle, I can't adjust for that. Or I mean I could, but it'd be a pain in the ass. As where I'm freehanding, I can literally adjust for it on the fly. You know, or if you have, you know, say a factory edge that's got waves in one side. On a fixed angle, you can only really go lower. You go a lower angle and erase all that. But fixed angle, I mean freehand, I can make teeny adjustments throughout the pass and correct for that. That's something that you physically cannot do on a fixed angle. And yes, much faster. There's anybody who thinks that they can set an I actually argue with people, and not argue, but we go back and forth until I just get tired of hearing it on Reddit all the time with people saying, you know, that fixed angle is faster. It's not. It's not even close. If I'm actually not talking, if I'm just sitting down sharpening, trying to get a quick edge done, I would say for the same edge quality and same finish, I can do a freehand edge in probably a little less than half the time that I could on a fixed angled system. When you factor in setup and, you know, clamping the knife and, you know, adjusting your angle, working your thickness compensator, etc., I would say it's probably less than half the time. And there's another thing, and a lot of people are probably going to disagree with this, but I've tested it. And why this is, I don't know. Grit for grit, freehand edges always have more bite than fixed angled edges. Why it is, I don't know. I can take a F800 Veneve Dragonstone and a F800 like the two-sided 1x6 stones. Do the exact same edge, 15 degrees per side, 17, whatever. Do that edge on a fixed angle with that finish on that stone, or go over to my dragon plate, F800, do the same edge, and without a shadow of a doubt, that freehand edge has more bite every single time on any stone, doesn't matter. Diamond plates, water stones, resin, it doesn't matter. The freehand edge always has more bite at said grit than a fixed angle does. I don't know why, I wish I did, but it does. That's got to be what it is. That's the only thing I can come up with too, Aiden. It has to be it has to be the angle of the teeth that are cut into the edge. That's the only. And I've even tried on fixed angled. I've even tried to mimic my same, stroke path, and it doesn't matter. I still can't. I still do not get the bite, and that doesn't just go for me. I've had other, fixed angle sharpeners sharpen knives for me. Very, very good fixed angle sharpeners. And they cannot replicate the bite that I can on the same stones freehand. And not just me freehand, other freehanders as well. There's something about freehand and the way that it cuts. The way I don't know. It has to be the angle that the micro serrations are being cut at. Exactly, and that too. If you have a misgrind, fixed angle, you'll make it more prevalent. Even if you're being cautious not to, I'm sorry for talking with my hands, guys. Even if you're cautious of it, you'll make it more prevalent. And another thing with fixed angle, you will never get the tip quality on a fixed angled system that you will on a freehand. Like to get those absolute cat claw sticky tips. I mean, I'm not saying you can't get a super sticky tip on a fixed angle. You can, of course. Well, if I can. But to get that absolutely perfectly formed tip, you will never get as good on a fixed angle as you will freehand. Look at a fixed angle tip under a microscope, and then look at a well done fixed angle tip. Look at it, and then look at a well done freehand tip under a microscope. And I guarantee you that how crisp that tip is on the freehand will be better. That has to be what it is, Aiden. It has to be the angle that those micro serrations are cut. That's the only thing I can come up with. It has to be that. But it is absolutely there. Freehand edge quality, when it's very, very well done, is better than fixed angle. And I think it's just the ultra slight inconsistencies in your stroke that do something that the precision of a fixed angle can't replicate. That's the only thing I can come up with. And it's interesting. I really wish I knew why, but it has to be that. Exactly. Like I can do, if I do a mirror polish, that mirror polish will still have bite. It'll have aggression. You do a real high, a real high grit mirror on a fixed angle, and it lacks that aggression. It might have some bite, but it won't have that that aggression that a freehand mirror would. And that goes across the board to all grits. It's freehand edges just have more bite. And I hate to say it, but freehand edges last longer. I've tested it. Now, I wouldn't say they last longer in a necessarily meaningful way. Like in day-to-day use, are you going to notice a difference? Probably not. But I have tested it on cardboard and, rope cut test. Fixed angled edges consistently cut longer. It's not a lot, maybe 5 to 10%, but it's a consistent trend that the freehand edges last longer. Budget steels, premium steels, exotic steels, doesn't matter, and take more abuse. They're just I can hold a very, very consistent angle. I can create very, very flat edges freehand with no meaningful convexing. At least not that you can see with your eye, even under a microscope. Or not, but my 1200X microscope still looks perfectly flat edge. But I believe that why they hold up to abuse better is even though they look perfectly flat, if you look at it next to a fixed angled edge, they'll both be perfectly flat. There has to be a teeny bit of convexing. And that teeny bit of convexing that you get freehand, you don't get on a fixed angled system. So you get a little bit more steel behind the edge. You get a little bit more toughness from that micro convexing of the freehand that you don't get with a fixed angle edge. Like, and I own lots of fixed angled stuff, and I enjoy sharpening on fixed angle. I find it fun. I don't find it as fun as freehand, but I find it enjoyable. So I'm not a fixed angle hater. And a lot of people, like when I talk about it with them, they, that's what they think. Oh, well, I use a fixed angle, you're a freehand, so you think you're better than me. That's not it at all. I use both, I enjoy both. I've spent the time on both to get good at both. I'm just, these things that I say, hey, a well done freehand edge is better than a well done fixed angled edge. It's not because I want freehand to be better. It's because I've tested it many times and I know for a fact that it is. It's not, it's not speculation. It showed itself to me in use and in testing. And again, I don't have nothing against fixed angle people. I love fixed angle sharpening. It certainly has its place. But at the end of the day, I always tell people, learn, even if you're a fixed angle guy, even if you love doing that, learn freehand. Exactly. You have more control, it's more versatile, it's faster. Once you get good at it, the edge quality is better. Per square inch of stone is far cheaper on bench stones. You have many more stone choices. It is literally better in every way, except the learning curve. If somebody invests the time to learn freehand, it is better in every single way. But a lot of people, they don't like hearing that. They get pissed off at it actually, because they think that you're trying to I guess talk crap about them because they use a fixed angle, but that's not it at all. Now now I will stick by my guns and I've said it many times. I don't think anybody who claims to be a professional sharpener and sharpens people's knives for money, if they're using a fixed angled system, I firmly believe that anything that they do on that fixed angle, they should be able to do freehand, or they should not be sharpening people's knives. And the reason I say that is, there are things, it goes back to the things that you cannot do on a fixed angle that require you to be able to freehand it in order to do it. And that goes, if you have a grind that's off, you have to be able to keep that bevel the same size. You have to be able to adjust on the fly. If you have a knife that has a drastic distal taper change, and you need to keep a bevel the same width, the whole width of that edge, the whole length of that edge, you can't do that on a fixed angled system. I believe that if you're charging people to sharpen for them, and you're doing it on a fixed angle, that any work that you do on that fixed angle, you should be able to do the same thing or better freehand before you call yourself a professional.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you, son. Sort of knife with huge pivot stock. Yes, that too. That too. Or, tall thumb studs, and you can't remove the thumb studs without scratching them up. And at that point you have to run an angle that the customer might not want. If the customer wants a 17-degree angle or a 15-degree angle, and the lowest you can get without hitting the thumb studs is 18, well, you either tell that customer, hey, I can't do that, or now the customer has to settle for an angle that they don't want. Versus if you freehand it, you just work around it, no problem. Yes, that too. And you know what? Like, depending on the system, flat grinds can be an issue too. Like on a KME, with you got a flat grind with a distal taper, that can be a problem. Hey Jojo, how's it going? I'm glad to see you here. I hope you're doing well. I wish you could hang out. You have yourself a good night, okay? Next time I'll do a live. I'll do a live earlier, that way it won't be so late for you. And you also got that too. I mean, yeah, they make them convex attachments, but how well they work, I don't know. Never used one, but it's very easy to do a perfect convex freehand, like it stone in hand, and it'll naturally do it for you. Take care of yourself, and again, I appreciate you stopping by. Have yourself a good night, and I hope you sleep well. It's just that a lot of people, they just get pissed off at people. Anybody that says anything about, fixture systems, even if what you're saying is 100% factual, they don't care. They just see it as you talking shit about them because they use a fixed angle, and that's not the case. Like, on Reddit, it's bad. I mean, everything on Reddit's bad, but talking sharpening on Reddit is a nightmare. And, you know, like me being a fixed angle and a freehand guy, if I say anything specific to one, then it's gonna, the other people, or if I say something about a fixed angle system, the fixed angle system people are gonna attack me. And if I say something about freehand, the freehand people are gonna attack me. And yeah, I was about to say, and if you say anything about a belt grinder, you're really gonna catch hell. And you know what? I do belt edges too. Now, I don't do them to my knives, but people that need cheap sharpening, it's the, you know, yeah, I'm not going to turn that down. Like if, you know, a little restaurant, they got, you know, if they got 15 knives to sharpen, they don't care about, all they want is a sharp knife. They don't care about how good it looks. They don't care about it, you know, swirl cutting through newspaper. All they want it to do is cut food decently, and that's good enough. You slap a 600 grit, you know, a 600 grit belt on a 1x30, and you can sharpen, clean up the damage, and put an edge on that knife literally 30 seconds. Yeah, I don't even, I won't even discuss the Tormek people. I've never used one. I will say I have felt some of the edges that's come off of the Tormek system, and they are pretty good. But there's some problems with it too. Yeah, there's some issues with it that on certain knives I've seen that the edges just don't look right. They don't look right. I've seen it where, you know, the bevel angle significantly thickens at the tip, even on a, you know, a fairly straight ground knife. I mean, there's issues with every, no matter how you do it. There's issues with freehand too. But with freehand, the only issue there is your skill level. That's it. And that's why freehand is the ultimate way. The only limitation of freehand is your skill level. That's it. And yes, they do. And if you look at them under magnification, on low angle edges, yes, it's a hollow edge. And stability definitely comes into play in that situation. But yeah, like I'm not against belt edges. They certainly have their place, and you know, once you learn, you can get some pretty damn good cutting edges off of a belt. My problem with them is they don't last. No matter how cautious you are, no matter even if you've got a wet belt, use that, you know, couple micron wide apex. No matter, you are heat fatiguing that apex. No matter if you're spraying a fire hose on that grinder, you are 100% heat fatiguing that apex on a belt system. It's so little steel that it builds heat so quickly that it's impossible. I know this sounds silly. A wet belt, you'll hear, you know, belt sharpeners say that They use a wet belt, and their edges have no heat fatigue. That's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. That apex is so little steel that it builds heat the moment that abrasive makes contact with it. And you can't get around that. And that, now, unless you're running very, very slow belt speeds. And in that case, you might as well be freehanded. If you're running any belt speed at all, wet belt or not, you are heat fatiguing that apex. And I bet money if you take two pieces of steel that same composition, same hardness, same geometry, and you sharpen one on a wet belt and you sharpen one freehand, and then you cut test them, without a shadow of a doubt, that a stone done edge will last longer. And not by a little bit neither. It will last significantly longer. And on dry belts, yeah, that's just a no-no. Those edges don't last at all. I mean, they're not horrible. They'll serve that. Love you. They'll serve their purpose. I mean, but fixed blade on the corner. Oh, it's just. Just a little round handle that was turned down, and a piece of crappy carbon steel. And I had a BPS sheet that I think, shit. Cut out a blade, and I honestly couldn't even tell you what steel that is. It's probably like, more than likely it's leaf spring. But it's got a nice convex on it. That's a nice hand done convex, stone in hand. Something you definitely can't do on a fixed system. I'll show you something kind of funny. It tickled me. This is a knife I did. Customer sent a bunch of knives over like this, and I don't understand it. These knives right here can't cost very much. What, $20? Like, paying more for the sharpenings than the knives cost. But I guess they like the knives, so it is what it is. But I was actually kind of shocked to see this. This is just one of those like Smith & Wesson M&P, probably $20 knife at Dick's Sporting Goods or Academy or something like that. They're not very good. But I was actually kind of impressed. I was expecting this to have terrible steel on it. And I sharpened quite a few of this Smith & Wesson knives. And they actually sharpened decently. I was expecting absolutely garbage steel, but they sharpen pretty decently. And all the other ones aren't marked, but this one is. And I was figuring they were probably some like 3CR or some 420, like 420A or something like that. But this is 4034, and it's not ran soft. It sharpens nicely. It come up really good, and took every one of them, about 10 of these, not the same knife, but this, Smith & Wesson knives, and They come up super sticky, um, just like the cold steel knives in 4034 that I have. Like, these knives aren't nowhere near as bad as I thought they was. And they really do sharpen nicely. He said he wanted a light polish on them. Yeah, diamond in the rough. He said he's used this thing a ton, used all of them. I mean, they're all beat to hell and back. He said he wanted a light polish on them. And you can see where these edges were wrecked because I guess he tried to sharpen them with a file. And it just didn't work for him. So, tips were destroyed. But, I got it back looking pretty good. He rounded it off real big. But he said he didn't want me to create a sharp point here anyways. But he did, the tips on them were all destroyed from, I guess, him rounding them over. Using a mill file to sharpen them. But he said he wanted a light polish on them. So I took them up to 1200. And they sharpen really nicely, and they come out super sticky sharp. Like, way hair popping. Probably close to hair whittling, actually. Like, I'm not even touching the skin neither. That's just catching hair. But, yeah, they come up real, that cut me. They come up really good. And this tickled me too. I seen it on another one that I did, but I was like, what the hell? This flipper, it's like a kickstop. It's like a assisted kickstop. I mean, not exactly like it, but same type of thing. Another shock cat. No, you got to go, boy. Here's another new shock cat. What's up, buddy? Say hey. All right, you got to go. You got to go. Tanto with traditional Japanese. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm definitely more of a fan of a Japanese Tanto. I know that sounds that's a term that always makes me feel silly to say a Japanese Tanto or an American Tanto. It doesn't really make sense, but a Japanese style Tanto I much prefer over American Tantos. Now I will say American Tantos, they do have one. They do have one good purpose or one good attribute. They make really good scrapers, but overall I don't really like them, and I just don't like Tantos all that much in general. I don't mind them, but I don't really like them. With cow print, one of these. That is nice. Got one of those with cow print. A knife like this in cow print? Where do you get that from? My daughter would flip her shit. That kid loves cows more than anything. Yeah, I mean they do really do. Yeah. Oh, the cat. Oh, okay. I was about to say it. It'd be funny to see like Smith and Wesson make a tactical brand making a cow print knife. And that's a cool little kitten too, man. But they just build up so damn quick around here, and it don't matter how much you try to keep them out. As soon as the kids see them, they want them, and then it's getting out of hand. I literally got like 20 shop cats now. And yeah, yeah, they are box cutting legends. That is very. Now they're playing with the charger cord on the phone, so y'all see the phone moving or the camera moving. That's why. Let me unplug it. Yeah, I mean they definitely do. They do have their place. I have a few of them, but not too many. Yeah, it would be like how would you say that? It would be like undercover tactical, you know. Like somebody see it and they, oh, that's cute, but it's a tactical design. Like putting a Lego pattern on your Glock 19. Hey, man, you got to get you one of these, buddy. You got to get you one of these things. They're so good. I ordered two of them. I'm in love with the other one. It's been in my pocket a lot. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna grab me a second one of these in case they don't make many of them. These things are so good. It's like, as a work knife, oh, it's so good. I want them to make one of these in K390 so bad. Man, if they had this design done in Psyche and did it in K390, I want one so bad. Yeah, it does. And you know what? But it's man, it's just such a good work knife. It's so efficient. It just does everything as a work knife. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Like, if it looks like they're going to discontinue it and things, I'm going to have me 3 or 4 of these guys. You know, for when I sharpen one out, or I'm going to have a replacement. Quite a few of those in the collection, just because. You know that they're going to sharpen out pretty quick. You're not going to get a whole shit ton of edges off of them, and they're so good. Yeah, less threatening to call, exactly. I'll tell you what, that would be a bad boy in a self-defense role too. You would not. That would be a nasty weapon if you needed it to be, especially if they made a serrated version of it. 9CR actually. Yep, they made them in 9CR14 movie. And it's performed pretty daggum good too. One sharpen on the user, one sharpening has went probably about 15 days of carry and a lot of use. When I say carry, I mean well used. And it's to give you a good idea. Like say I carry like an 8CR Tenacious. An edge will give me, with strop backs before it starts getting slick on me to where it's time for a sharpening. I'd say I probably get about 6 to 7 days off of an edge before it's time to sharpen. And I've gotten damn near, I'd have to go back and look at the calendar, but double or a little more than double off that 9CR. It's performed significantly better than 8CR. Like way noticeably better. It's got what 12, 14 days of carry use, and it's still not in need of a sharpening. It's still coming right back with just a couple passes on a rounded strop with 5 micron, and it's coming right back, not getting slick, still got plenty of bite. Like that 9CR performs a lot better than 8CR, a lot. And something else I've been like really hung up on for the last probably 3 months is LC200N. That stuff's so good, man. Especially on like the Spyderco Warncliffe salt. It's so good. And I really, the stainlessness of it's not, could really care less about, to be honest. It's just, that stuff drops back so nicely. Like, when it starts feeling blunt, a few passes on like 9 micron, a few passes on 5 and 3, and it's right back to popping hair and got nice bite. It's so good. I don't know if you've ever used it, used LC200N, but man, it's good. I don't know if I ever showed you all that D2 edge. But of that 400 stone, that's the finish. And you see what I mean about them tips, and you just can't get them that perfect on a fixed angled system. That is a perfect D2 edge right there. Nice and aggressive, lots of bite. All right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It's time for me to cook for the kiddos and the old lady. I really do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. It was fun. I need to start doing like one of these a week. It's therapeutic for me talking with you guys, and I don't know, like, there's something I'm not doing right on YouTube because everybody else gains subscribers and I don't, which, I mean, I don't really care that much about. I only care about the people who want to watch me anyways. But I would imagine doing lives probably would help with getting some more subscribers. But I really would like to get more subscribers, just for the simple fact that I would really like to help progress teaching freehand sharpening. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. It's been fun. I'm gonna cook them some chicken and rice-a-roni, I think, and I'll probably post another video. I should have a video that's scheduled to release tonight at 8 or 9. It's for a stone compensator for that one system. So y'all check that out if you can. If y'all have any questions, I'm always here to answer them. I don't really get on Instagram, so if you message me there, I might not get to it. But my email is in my if you look on YouTube, my YouTube homepage, you'll see my email. If you email me, I'll get back to you in no time. But again, it was fun hanging out, guys, and I'll talk to y'all later, okay? Aiden, you have a good night, brother. I appreciate you hanging out with me. Aaron and anybody else that hung out with me, I appreciate it. Ray, I don't know how to pronounce your name. What is that? Barca? Yeah, Barca. I appreciate you hanging out with me. And JoJo, I appreciate you coming and seeing me. Y'all have a good night, and I'll talk to y'all later, okay? 2.5 hours. It was fun.